Wish we could do that the entire episode. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our 5th episode of Genre Roulette Season 2. Yeah, woo! So you guys may have noticed, but we have a next guest in the studio today.
Ramil's been replaced.
Yes,
again.
Ramil has, as we told you guys, Ramil has been kicked off the show, actually. So yeah, Priscilla, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi. My name's Priscilla. Oh my god, I was gonna say I'm Canadian, but you guys know that.
What are you?
I think.
Priscilla backstory, maybe?
Oh, I'm Canadian, but I've been Americanized.
Oh, haven't we all?
Yeah, and
Okay,
I love
American.
movies.
Do you have a favorite movie or genre?
One of my favorite movies is definitely How to Train Your Dragon, but also Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh,
are
we
like-
got a Studio Ghibli movie up in here, Sophie.
Finally, some good taste from
Woo.
somebody on the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of course.
that kind of hurt. Yeah, so guys, do we want to reveal what our genre of the week is?
We actually have visuals for that this time.
Yeah,
Very
okay,
exciting.
ready? Priscilla, we usually do like a drum roll of what our genre of the week is, so...
Okay.
Woo! It's... Dystopian! Woo! Yay! Dystopian. How do we feel about the dystopian genre, guys?
I feel like it's very important cinema, and it's like one of the best genres out there in cinema because it's so like relatable. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah. How about you, Sophie? I'm gonna save Adrienne for last because I know she's kind of fangirling over the genre right now.
I think dystopia is like Priscilla said, it's a really important genre. It's a great way to tell an important story in a very accessible way. It makes us look at real world issues in like a fantasy and sci-fi setting. I don't know. It's a great genre. You can tell there's some really good storytelling. What about you, Adrienne?
I had to write it down. So
Oh.
I don't miss anything.
Okay.
Okay. But I feel like it's an interesting way to blend sci-fi elements with like real world issues and politics in a way that people can digest better because it's like fictional, even though it comments on like real world stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a cautionary tale, some of them. But yeah, Jada.
Yeah. Oh my
Agreed.
god, I can barely see you because like this computer. But yeah, so like dystopian genre, it's my favorite book genre. Like I've read so many dystopian books, and I enjoy the movies too because I feel like they're really like thought provoking. Yeah, and like you guys said, there's like a lot of political commentary, and it's kind of like fresh. You know, it's kind of suitable for our time. And I also like it because it's not like. It's like a lot of dystopian genres is like science fiction sort of, but it's not like overtly science fiction like Star Wars because I can't like tolerate Star Wars that much. Like I'll watch it once and I won't watch it again. But like with dystopian, it's like it's not too fictional in a sense. It feels more real, I guess you could say. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of literature, a lot of the dystopian movies like are based off of like the dystopian books, like 1984, Fahrenheit 451. I know a lot of authors take after some of those books.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. By the way, guys, 1984 is like my favorite book ever.
Is it really?
It is, yes. It is. So we're talking about dystopias. Dystopian. What does dystopian even mean, y'all? Like,
Ooh,
what does it even mean?
I used to know this. I think it means something like. I forget.
It's giving English class right
It
now,
comes from the
guys.
word utopia, actually, which is
Okay.
a novel written in the 1500s. Utopia means no land or nowhere because it's like a made-up place. It was like a novel made up to like explain the perfect place, and that's why it's called nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So dystopia, I don't remember what the prefix means, but it's just a play on utopia as like
It's the opposite. Exactly.
That's right.
Oh,
That's what I'm here to
so
do.
You got the script.
Yeah, the script is right here in the noggin.
Hey.
It's right here in my
I didn't get a
English
script.
class.
Yeah, so where like utopias are like perfect worlds, dystopias is the exact opposite. You have a lot of... Adrian, do you have to say something? You're kind of like...
I wrote notes.
Dystopia generally depicts a future with oppressive governments, environmental disasters, extreme technological control, or social decay.
Yes.
Okay.
I got a lot of that too in my research. I got like just a lot of oppression and like people are miserable.
A lot of political.
Yes, and I imagine like the color palette is just like gray and dark and dirty and like everybody's covered in ash, you know? That's what I when I think about, and not the Pokemon Ash guys, like, you know.
Ash isn't a Pokemon, he's a person.
I mean the
He's a
person from Pokemon, my bad. I'm talking about like ash and stuff like that. So yeah, what are some of your guys' favorite dystopian movies? We can talk about shows too, because I want to talk about a show.
You should talk about your show.
My show.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite show right now is actually Handmaid's Tale, and the final season is coming out.
Real.
Yeah, next month. I'm super excited for that. So that's my favorite dystopian show. I don't necessarily have a favorite dystopian movie aside from the movie that we're doing today, which we're not going to reveal yet. But recently, me and Adrian had to watch Blade Runner for class. 2049, the second one, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, how about you guys? The awkward
Not all
like
at once, guys. Go. I mean,
Yeah, go Adrian, go. This is
My
your genre.
favorite is probably the one that we're doing today.
yeah.
But
yeah,
in terms of books, I started reading Fahrenheit 451 like the other day, and it's actually pretty good so far. And I also like the first Blade Runner, like the original one. And I don't know if you guys know Children of Eden. It's Joey Graceffa's book.
oh my
He was like
Joey Graceffa wrote a book.
when he was down into that like author era.
Yeah.
I like
Oh my
ate that book
gosh.
up, that trilogy up. Even though it's like, I don't know.
I
It's-
did not know he was a writer.
I didn't
Like,
know y'all knew who Joey Graceffa
Oh
was.
my God,
From
he
the
was my
Minecraft
everything.
videos.
He got me into the movies that we're doing today.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yeah.
Whoa.
What?
Because he did like
That's crazy.
parodies and then like Minecraft videos. I was like kind of obsessed.
Yeah.
So that was his whole thing, and then transferred to me. So
That's crazy. I've never heard somebody say that they like this certain franchise, which we will not reveal because of Joey Graceffa. That's
it was
crazy.
like the starting thing.
That's crazy.
So-
How about you, Sophie?
I mean, obviously my favorite movies of this genre are the ones we're watching right now, because I'm also basic, and also I think it's the best one. In terms of other dystopian media, right now for my sci-fi class, I'm reading The Parable of the Sower, which is an amazing book. And since we're on dystopia, I wanted to give a little shout out to our photographer, Pierre, because I think he has a really special place in his heart for a wonderful dystopian movie called The Maze Runner.
Come and show your face.
Come here. Come here.
Come next to Sophie.
Come here, man. Give us a little say on The Maze Runner.
So
Which camera?
thoughts.
That one.
That one.
Okay. Hi, it's Pierre. Yeah, Maze Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of the last movies I've like watched and like remember watching. Yeah, I just love the entire trilogy of it. Yeah. This was a very impromptu bring in, but
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
But sorry for the spot.
It's
We
okay.
love you, Pierre. Thank you.
Yes, we love you so much.
love you guys. Happy to be here.
The
Anyways,
best photographer ever. Genre Roulette's personal photographer is
know.
Pierre. Yeah.
Trust you will be on an episode, guys.
Is Maze Runner based off books or?
Yeah.
I think so.
It is. Wow.
I'm pretty sure like any young adult dystopian you can think of, it was a book first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've actually never watched all of the Maze Runner movies.
I think I've only seen
watched the
the
first
Yeah,
one.
same. I don't remember.
The side eye from Pierre is crazy.
Like, okay, Scorched Trials, does that have the zombies in it?
They're zombies.
Is there zombies?
I'll watch it.
There's, like, these- yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Adrian, you need to get on that because zombies is your thing.
Priscilla, how about you?
So obviously, again, the movie we're doing today, I really feel like the movie, it's the blueprint for all dystopian like films and books. Like it was the one, right, that kind of started everything. A little unrelated one, it's not as popular, but like in middle school, like all English middle school classes make you watch The Giver and
Oh
read the
my
book.
god.
Okay, I understand the ending might be a little like open ending kind of thing. But like I kind of like the idea of it. I don't know. And I thought the movie was cute how it started in black and white and then went into color. I thought that was cute.
Listen, sorry, can I share my thoughts on that freaking movie? I actually loved that book. I read it in middle school too. It's a good book. Trust me, I like The Giver.
It is a good book.
I just hated the movie. I thought the movie was so... it pissed me off. I didn't like that it was like a romance.
Oh,
and I also did not like Taylor Swift. What was she doing in that movie?
Oh yeah, that was irrelevant.
She was bad.
That was irrelevant.
But I don't know. The movie, I loved the artiness. It was really nice. You're right. The black and white to color is actually like, if they had done that in a better movie, no offense, I would have loved it.
I like the romance though. I feel like I'm obviously a little bit. I need like a little pinch of romance and everything. But also I feel like it was important because you know how love is kind of, if anything, like one of the most important emotions out there. It's like rooted into everything. You love your friends, your family, you love your interests. So like there had to be a little something of love for him to learn it first. You know what I mean?
I think I don't know.
But like I get it.
In my like 14-year-old brain, it took away from the story. But maybe that's just me being a killjoy when I was in middle school.
The Giver is the only like dystopian novel that like the popular ones that I haven't read yet.
Oh my god, look who's on the window. It's Ramil.
Oh my god, what a traitor. Wow.
Oh
so speaking of romance and stuff, let's talk about some dystopian subgenres. Adrian, how about you start?
Okay, well, I couldn't really find subgenres. I feel like, dystopia was more of like a subgenre of sci-fi. So what I found more were tropes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could read some tropes.
Before we get into that, let me say some of mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we watched Blade Runner the other day, and that was very cyberpunky. Well, it is a cyberpunk movie, so there's that. We talked about romance, obviously action, young adult is always like a big. Are these genres? Am I
like not real? Well,
yeah,
young adult is a genre.
This is genre roulette. You should know what a genre is.
Yeah, okay, my bad, guys. School me in genres. Let's go. But like one of the reasons why I like 1984, like why that's my favorite book, is because we're kind of getting off topic with genres, but like it's like a theme, I guess. That book blends like philosophy, it blends like psychology, it blends like all these different themes together into that dystopian world, like even psychology. So it's like that's one of the reasons why I like the dystopian genre, because like it goes like above and beyond. It's not just like, action and war and fighting. Like there's so much layers to it,
Yeah, I think like the genres of dystopia is itself like a derivative of sci-fi, but there's like two main distinctions. There's like speculative fiction, which is like something that's actually predicting the future, and then there's like more of like the more fantasy
somebody's been studying for
it's
their
the
sci-fi.
It's the sci-fi class. It's really getting to my brain. I love that class. But yeah, there's like speculative fiction, which is like something like, I guess even 1984, where it's like actually predicting what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And then there's like the more distant ones where it's like more sci-fi. Like even Star Wars could technically be a dystopia, just like set thousands of years in the future.
True.
And then there's also like two different dystopias in like the sense of, there's one where like everything you can tell is bad. Like if you watch Maze Runner, like it's bad. And then there's stuff like The Giver, where it's presented as a perfect utopia, but it's actually like secretly dystopia, right?
Yeah.
So those are the kind of like the two
like
different.
the fake. It's a fake.
Yeah,
utopia.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got.
That's how Brave New World is like as well. It's also like, if you guys, there's also a show of that you guys should watch as well. I liked it, but it's exactly that, where like this, like society has reached a place where like everything is supposed to be perfect, but then you have like all those like class differences still, and all these, which we'll get into more when we talk about our tropes. But yeah, definitely like an illusion of utopia is a big thing. Yeah, so do we want to get into tropes, Adrian?
I have a long list. Do you want me to just read them all and we can discuss?
Girl, sure, go ahead.
So as you guys already mentioned, false utopia is a common trope. The power obsession with like oppressive governments is one. Rebellion and resistance, propaganda, loss of individualism, education bans, surveillance, technology, class divisions, and in some people consider like stuff like The Last of Us and The Walking Dead.
I was gonna say The Last of Us.
Dystopian. So there's like a post-apocalyptic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, zombie fiction is definitely, I'd say, dystopian.
Yeah.
I was gonna say The Last of Us.
Well, do you have some thoughts on The Last of Us?
Yeah, can we talk about that?
It comes out soon. Season 2 comes out soon.
Can y'all tell me how like The Walking Dead and like The Last of Us is considered a dystopian? Like I don't get it.
Because it's like, it's natural disasters, it's post-apocalyptic. Like you were
Okay.
telling me how you think dystopian is like, ash and like everybody's, it's survival and which is
Yeah.
basically The Last of Us.
Okay, yeah.
I guess there's also some like kind of government-y questionable stuff in The Walking
Yeah,
Dead
yeah.
too, like the power structures that they have.
Yeah.
there, I guess.
Interesting. So yeah, I guess it's like less of the technology part of dystopia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure, and more of that. Yeah. So, do you want to reveal what our movie of the week is?
All right, buddies, it's time to do the. Oh, my bad.
Hunger Games. Wait, Catching Fire.
I thought it was like Hunger
Yeah, we were
Games,
doing
Catching
Catching
Fire, but
Fire.
then like Hunger Games in general.
I thought we were doing Hunger Games in general.
doing all-
What did you guys did you watch all? Have you all seen all of them?
Yeah,
I watched
I've
all
seen
of
all of
them.
them, but like if I knew we were just talking about Catching Fire, then I would have read an in-depth summary. So today I'm prepared to talk about the entire.
I'm prepared
series.
to talk about
I
everything.
think we're just treating
Yeah.
it like the whole
Okay,
franchise.
okay.
Don't
I kind
worry.
of caught me off guard first.
Don't worry, sorry.
Yes,
My
guys.
bad.
So today we're switching it up, and we're going to be talking about the entire Hunger Game franchise, like all the movies, and yeah.
You can't
so
just talk about one.
exactly. So how about we give a little summary of?
How did you do
my
last
God,
week
my-
without the summary?
Is it time? Okay. I actually looked it up, I think, on Wikipedia last week. Or maybe I remembered it. I don't even remember what movie we did last week.
Charlie's Angels.
Yes! I think I just talked about it. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can read Adrian's screen
Oh,
from very
do you want
far
me to
away.
zoom it
No,
in?
it's okay. I got that 2020.
Oh,
The Hunger Games franchise is a dystopian story set in a future society where a powerful capital controls 12 districts through fear and oppression. Each year, the government forces young participants from each district to compete in a deadly televised event called the Hunger Games. As the story unfolds, the protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, becomes a symbol of resistance challenging the oppressive system. The series explores themes of survival, propaganda, power, and rebellion against tyranny.
That was beautiful.
Is that it? Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
yes. So we have our protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, played by the lovely Jennifer Lawrence. Why do I sound so dead?
I know, come on, wake up.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so tired. But anyways, which one is like your guys' favorite movie? Adrian, I know it's Catch Fire.
Catching Fire.
Let's talk about why.
I don't know. I really like it. I feel like the first Hunger Games is so good, but then Catching Fire really like brings up the stakes with like
Really?
everything it has. But if we're talking about books, Catching Fire, it has been my favorite, but the new one is really good. So they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Literally, it's so
That,
good.
I don't know. Everywhere it has their own little quirks,
Yeah.
and I love all of it. You guys?
How about you, Priscilla? What's your favorite movie?
It's okay. Oh my god. They're all so good. I can tell you which one's not my favorite.
Nope.
But, well, not really. I think, okay, it's between like the first two for me because Hunger Games itself is like, that was just like a bomb dropped for dystopian.
Yeah.
Oh, no pun intended. But, like,
Spoil-
for the genre, and like that movie itself was like beautiful. But then again, like Adrian said, this, you know how people say like, oh, nothing beats, like the sequels can't beat the original and da da da.
Not in this case.
The sequel was like equally as good. Like the stakes are higher and it makes you like even more. But I was more scared during that. The last two, I love the last two. It's just
Yeah.
like somebody died in the last one, and it's
Well,
just,
I mean, a lot of good characters.
We
though.
lost a lot of
You know
good ones on the
what?
way.
Maybe
Yeah.
Catching Fire is my favorite because I really loved Finnick.
don't talk to me about
Really?
it.
Okay, look
Don't
at her
bring up
fangirling.
Finnick.
But
Don't
okay.
bring him up to me.
I just
it's
got
too painful.
kind of when I remember first reading Catching Fire and then hearing about the quarter quell, and I got so pissed off because
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
they're back at it
same,
again. That's why
right?
I don't like Catching Fire, because that got me really annoyed. Like, what do you
That
mean
made
they
me
were
so
just
mad.
in the Hunger Games and now they have to go back into
And
it?
it's because of President Snow's
Yeah.
Oh
agenda.
my
So
God.
like, you know
Exactly.
what? I'm gonna do y'all dirty just cause.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was so evil.
Can I spoil something from the new book or no?
no,
No, girl,
spoilers
we
for
have
the new
not.
book.
We have not read that
Yes.
yet, girl.
Sophie, which one is your favorite?
I mean, I'm gonna reiterate what you guys said. I think 1 and 2 are the best. I mean, the first one is classic because it's kind of just like I don't know, it's really shocking. I remember when it first came out, my mom straight up did not let me watch it because she was like, I don't want you to watch kids killing kids. And I was like, oh.
My
Like,
mom
okay.
didn't let me watch
Yeah,
Harry
that
Potter.
makes sense.
Harry Potter?
Yeah, but that's a different story. Continue.
I think, I don't know. Again, I'm gonna get all like annoying and technical about like the genre because I love dystopia, but the first one is great because it explores dystopia as a theme, but then the second one is when they start to like break down the layers of it.
Exactly.
I feel like every dystopian franchise ends with like a big war, and I don't find that as interesting to watch, unfortunately, which is why like the last two movies, even though they're amazing, I just don't really like watching. I don't think because like you know the feeling of the actual premise is more like interesting to just like watch what's happening, and it's interesting and catching fire to watch her like slowly break out of it.
Yeah.
Because they already like they put their plan in motion, and then like they haul her out of like the arena and stuff.
I feel
So
like
it just-
war
yeah.
is always a part of dystopia, though.
For sure.
And I mean, it makes sense because that's like the breaking point of like how they're gonna get out of the dystopia is by
Yeah.
like overthrowing the government or whatever. But it is kind of more interesting to like just watch the premise of the dystopia.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go against you guys, and I'm gonna say Mockingjay Part 1 is my favorite.
Of course,
Yeah.
it is. Always gotta be
but,
different.
Like you said, like that's when you actually kind of get to see like all the sides. They actually go into the Capitol now, and you get to see. I mean, even though it's kind of like the outside, I guess you kind of get to see, you know, how the rebels are living, and then how the Capitol is living. You get to see all sides of the story.
Yeah,
and
that's when you like actually realize like, oh, like this is
bigger
Yeah.
than
this is it. Yeah.
yeah, bigger than just being like in the arena. Like this is actually like
Like
the entire.
It
Capitol.
reminds me of the line that Finnick said in like the last movie is like, welcome to the 76th annual Hunger Games. It's not arena anymore, it's like actual war now.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Wow.
Keep going.
Oh, what? I don't have that. No, that's it. That's it. That's the end of the episode, guys. Bye.
No, come on. This is the one episode we gotta be passionate about. I know you guys
Yes.
are very passionate about this movie. I am too. It's a great franchise. It's a very important stuff to talk about. So what's next on the agenda?
I mean, how does this genre, sorry, I'm like blanking out.
How does this movie
how is
play
Hunger
its genre?
Games like a dystopian genre? Why is it considered the best dystopian movie ever made?
I mean, it has a lot of the tropes that we mentioned before, like the oppressive government, the rebellion, propaganda. It has those stuff
Yeah.
that are like of the dystopian.
For me, I think what stood out to me was like the technology aspect, because especially I can't remember which movies it was, but what are those like? Are they like mutts?
Oh,
Like those
yeah.
things, like they started
that was
to.
the first one.
Yeah, like all the like they have experiments and stuff, and like
Which, by the
They
way,
use
in the
it as-
book, those were way more
Scary.
Yeah, aren't they like the
Yeah.
fallen
They're
tributes
fallen,
basically?
like,
Yeah.
and they take their face and put it on the mutts and
That's
everything.
crazy.
But sorry, continue.
no, yeah, but
Shit.
exactly like you.
Shoot.
What?
Sorry, no. I thought.
No, exactly like you said. Like it's just like weapons is a big thing. Yeah, weapons and all those experiments and whatnot. Yeah, and like especially like in the Hunger Games, like the arena, they have a lot of like advanced technology. You have like your little drones. They're like being monitored 24/7. They have their little cameras
the
hidden
implants
everywhere.
and everything.
Yeah. And like, isn't like the arena like a force field? I mean,
Yeah.
It's like a
crazy.
dome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna kickstart why this is such an important movie, again, to get all boring about it, but it's because it has a lot to say. It's like the very first dystopia that was really aimed. I mean, not the first dystopia aimed at like young people, but like the first one to really like break into just like collective consciousness of young people and kind of just actually give us a story with a really important message. I think that's also the reason that a lot of its successors didn't do as well, is because they didn't necessarily. They were just trying to like imitate Susan Collins' style without actually imitating the message. Like that's why a lot of movies like Divergent and what other ones were there, like City of Bones, stuff like that. Like it didn't get the same recognition as Hunger Games because they imitated the style without imitating the message. Because like Divergent, what's the message there?
Be different, I guess.
Yeah, right. But like, I mean, the Hunger Games. It's literally about it's a class warfare. Like that's the whole point. Is that there's actually something really important to be said.
Plus, the movie itself is just goated. The
Yeah.
movie was just good.
No, the movie, yeah.
Others couldn't do it like they did.
They
so-
really stepped it up with the movies. I know they're not like 100% accurate to the books or whatever, but they're amazing movies, and it was so fun to rewatch them. Just
Yeah.
seen them so many times now.
So, you want to say
I
something?
don't know if the other dystopian movies work the same way as Hunger Games, but apparently Suzanne Collins had a big play in helping out with like the movies.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
movies?
Yeah. So I feel like that's
I think
another.
she was on set and things
Yeah,
during
like-
the movies.
Yeah, I
That's
think she had a
great.
big part in helping create the movies, so they turned out good.
It's true. Every time like a movie actually has the author involved, it usually turns out at least a little bit better because
Yeah.
you're following the original
Exactly.
vision.
But yeah, let's get back on track. So like talking about class differences and stuff like that. I don't know if people haven't watched Hunger Games. Like, do you know anybody who has not ever read or watched Hunger Games?
I mean, I haven't read them.
I haven't
Sorry, guys.
yeah, but I mean, like,
But-
read or watch. You should honestly, because
I know.
it's so good. But like, let's talk about those class differences because we have the capital, which is like the aristocrats. They're all the way up there, and then you have your districts, and it's from 1 to
12 or
well,
13.
originally 13. 13 being like the lowest of the districts,
Yeah.
the poorest, I guess you could say. Or I don't know, because wasn't the District 13 like weapons manufacturers
Yeah.
and stuff like that? But yeah, do you guys have anything to say about that, Adrian?
The districts have each of like their resources that they have to provide for the capital, and then the capital like redistributes them.
Mm-hmm.
But then, even though the districts are technically lower than the capital, there's still districts that are like considered more wealthier,
Yeah.
like the career districts 1 and 2 and 4. I think, yeah.
Wait, what happened to 3?
3, I think
Yeah.
it's technology. So,
Isn't it also
or the
like,
power.
Which one's lumber? 7?
I think that's 7.
Yeah, I think they're pretty also, right?
I think I'm not sure. I know sometimes District 11 is considered to be with the career not for wealth but for strength sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you guys think of any other like tropes that that are in the Hunger Games franchise?
Okay, wait. So back on. Wait, real quick. Let's get back to the low class.
Mm-hmm.
The classes.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
No,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Go.
Even within the districts, there's also like power structures in there because Katniss, even though District 12 is the lowest of the capital and then the districts,
Yeah.
Katniss is from the Seam, which is like the poorer side of District 12, and then I don't know the Seam.
So you're trying to say like there's like class
just
differences
keeps
within,
going on
within
and
the
on.
districts
Yeah.
as well.
And
yeah.
then not to mention like what like the victors get their own section
Yeah.
of the district too,
Yeah.
with like better housing, better everything.
Guys, but this like is so parallel to like real life because that's how it actually is.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yes,
like,
Queen, go.
let's touch on how that relates to us.
I mean, remember, guys, dystopia is not necessarily about predicting the future. It's kind of about making a statement that's happening right now.
Exactly. And that's why
Exactly.
like why so much people when I read like a lot of books from like I think 1984 is like from the 30s or the 40s, they're like, oh my god, this book was so ahead of its time. No, it wasn't. Like this genre originated then, and it was a commentary on what was happening then, and what was happening then is still happening
It
now.
still applies to
yeah.
today.
So
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example, the U.S. government, you know, with like the whole like the billionaires and all that, they're getting like they're going on about their like tax cut, and it's really only beneficial to them versus
mean,
the middle class or whatever.
yeah, and you know what? Like that's what when I was reading the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, like you really get to see how much the capital actually keeps for themselves, and like how little they actually let the districts have. Like that's why I really like that book because it flipped the perspective, and you actually got to see how the capital worked.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, and I guess that's why Suzanne Collins. I mean, that's what she does differently. Instead of seeing like it from like a war perspective and seeing it from like a rebellion perspective, you're seeing it from all sides.
I think
Yeah.
the most interesting, like the most interesting part is how she managed to like talk about classify, but in a more complex way than most other books. Because a lot of other books will kind of make it just like it's rich versus poor. But Suzanne Collins and like the Hunger Games kind of explains how rich, like the rich can like turn poor, quote unquote, poor people against each other. Because especially like even the first books, people the victors or whatever, like the contestants from District 1 and 2 are kind of seen as like the villains of the book, right? Like.
But they're really not.
Yeah,
the villains.
exactly.
They're
They're
just
not.
like pawns. In,
Exactly, because like Katniss,
everything.
her main opponent is those guys. Even though at the end of the day, I mean, by the second book, obviously you already realize, oh wait, it's not District 1 that's the villain, because they're still people that are middle class and they're still being forced into the games anyways.
Yeah.
It's not them that are necessarily the villain, and I guess that's kind of the same way that it happens in real life, where the billionaires are trying to get people to hate each other, even though they're the actual
And
problem.
that's a good point
surface.
because like we know how the series ends with, spoiler alert if anybody hasn't watched Hunger Games, go and watch it. But like the series ends with the rebellion, winning, and then Katniss ends up killing the Coin president, did Coin become president? I can't remember. No. So she killed Coin before Coin can become president.
She was going to become, and then she killed her.
But Coin was just as bad as
exactly.
Snow.
So it also illustrates like the power struggles within rebellions as well, and like when you think there's a good side, there's always a hidden agenda, there's always a motive for them as well.
Because Katniss kills Coin because she knows that if Coin becomes in power, she'll just become power hungry and then just become Snow all over again. Because, if we watch Ballad, Song, and Figs, that Snow doesn't necessarily start out that rich either.
Yeah.
It's just about someone being able to take advantage of a system.
And also, didn't Coin want to hold the next Hunger Games?
Yeah. She did.
That was Katniss's turning point.
With Children of the Capital.
Exactly.
And it's like,
you're starting the cycle again.
See, she's such a smart author. Like, this was so great. And everything we're saying is so surface level, but it's like, sure, like these books just go so deep. They're just so.
That's the thing. Like, they may be basic, but that's because they're the best ones.
I don't think it's basic because, like Sophie said, instead of focusing on the war and like that, I like that it actually gets into like the morality of everything, and like it really gets in depth into like Katniss and how she feels, because in a perfect world Katniss could become president and be the president of Panem now and like happily ever after, whatever, but she didn't want that. That's not what she wanted for herself. She did what she had to do, and then she saved everybody, and then she went off to live in Victor's village or wherever.
Well, they exile her at the end, don't they? Because she kills Coin. And the other thing is that it's a big talk of like child exploitation and child labor, because they make not only is Katniss exploited by the Capitol, obviously, because they make her kill people, but then she's exploited by the rebels as well, because they want her to be a symbol of something, even though she's literally like supposed to be.
The rebels the rebels are not entirely good either. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're technically on the good side, but then
they're fighting
again,
for what they believe in.
It's just kind of saying that like anyone can get swept up with like power, right?
Yeah.
So even the rebels at some point, when they finally realized that they were winning, they were like, oh, let's just put ourselves in charge anyway. Let's just become the capital instead.
Yeah, see, they were trying to do the right thing, but with the same tactics that the bad people use. So that's the thing.
Yeah. I wonder how, because Plutarch, right, he became the leader, I guess, until they have like an election, or what is that how it went?
Was it? I thought it was the girl from like District 8. I forgot what her name was. The one who was like also leading.
Was it?
I don't remember. I forgot what her name was.
No, I
swear Plutarch was like the temporary guy until.
And then,
but I kind of remember like
the girl. Something paler. Like they had like an election amongst all the district leads, and I think she won. But it could have been Plutarch before they elected someone.
Did that happen in the books or the movies?
Maybe.
I don't know. I get mixed up.
Because I don't remember them getting so in depth until like the aftermath, and I would love to see kind of like the aftermath of like.
I didn't trust Plutarch 100%.
No, he's
yeah.
He was like the businessman of.
Maybe he's better than Coin, y'all. So.
No, the whole point was that they were all. It could happen to anyone. Anyone could become like corrupt and then take over.
Yeah.
This has been a lot heavier than our usual episodes, guys.
I know. I feel like the depressing vibe is kind of like suitable for dystopian though.
It's true.
Do you feel gray and ashy?
Yes. You're welcome, guys. I dn't get any sleep, so.
I feel very relaxed. I don't know.
Could I also touch on Sophie's point about like how you were saying that like they put the billionaires put everyone against each other, right? That was their thing in the Hunger Games too, because I'm pretty sure the districts like outnumber the capital by like a long way, but the way that the capital holds power against them is by putting them against each other, putting the districts against each other in the Hunger Games. And part of the rebellion is like uniting the districts, and they even have like a hard time recruiting like District 2 or something
because they're bootlickers.
So yeah.
That I was gonna say that it's that we're supposed to see all the other like people in the arena and the victors as like antagonists, but reality they're all they're all just fighting to live. Like that's all it is. Exactly. It's nothing personal, which sucks.
I think it's also like that makes it really important. I think one of the reasons that I like Catching Fire so much is, I don't know, they all kind of blur in my mind, but it's the way that Katniss kind of gets to finally meet like the other victors and the other people from like the other districts. Like she gets to know Joanna and Finnick and all those people.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of humanizes the rest of the districts too, because then it makes you realize, oh yeah, they weren't actually the villains. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just Katniss and Rue and Peeta who were like the good guys in the Hunger Games, and everyone else was like evil.
But like some people were really like jerks though.
Well, of course,
But-
there can
but,
be
like, yeah.
mean people everywhere. That's also
Yeah.
a thing. But if you look at it on the big scale, they're not technically the villains.
No,
They're
they're
just,
not. They're not.
Mhm.
Did you guys have like a favorite scene or anything?
I can tell you it's not my favorite scene.
Does it involve a beautiful blonde man and
Beautiful blonde.
It's Benny blonde. It's more like light brown.
Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
he's not giving blonde.
he was always blonde in my mind?
Can we, before we get into what our favorite scenes are, I also wanted to talk about that Japanese film Battle Royale. Have you guys ever
Oh
heard
my
of
God.
that?
I heard about that.
Yeah, because I watched it and like, you know, people are saying that, you know, this is what Hunger Games was inspired.
I hear a lot of people who are fans of that one being like,
Yeah.
oh, it was just like a
copy
Like
of
Hunger
it.
Games just copied it all or whatever.
I feel like not necessarily a copy, but it's very similar in a sense. But obviously Suzanne kind of does like world building and she makes a whole, you
Yeah.
know,
I think that's what
franchise
makes
out
the
of it.
Hunger Games really
Exactly.
good.
I mean,
the
I think-
world building.
Well, I mean, Battle Royale, I haven't seen the movie, but I know enough about the book because I keep getting it at me. But anyways, yeah, it's like the same concept of kids killing each other, but it's, I don't know, when it came out, it was seen as very controversial because it felt like almost, like exploitative when it came out. Like people thought it was just like too much. It was just like too, what's the word, like egregious. Like it was just too much violence for kids on kids. And it didn't necessarily have as much of a statement as the Hunger Games does.
Yeah.
It still makes a statement, obviously. They're not just gonna, no one's gonna just make a book about kids killing
Yeah.
kids, but.
I haven't seen this movie
I haven't
or
either.
anything.
But I
So I
heard
don't know
of
what
it.
y'all are talking about.
I feel like it was like a starting point maybe.
Yeah, it's a book
for-
from the 90s
Yeah.
about like the government putting, like
Right.
the Japanese government putting a bunch of kids on an island as an experiment, and then they have to kill each other.
But
Yeah.
you know what this reminds me of?
Oh,
This movie and Hunger Games. Unrelated, but Squid Games.
mm-hmm.
I have yet
It's
to watch
kind of
that.
similar, especially because it's like this private group putting them on an island to fight for money, which is like a huge root of evil or whatever, and then eventually the contestants start just killing each other.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't actually mention Squid Game like when we were talking about other shows, because I mean, again, it is not necessarily inspired directly by Hunger Games, but yeah, it's another dystopia
Yeah,
in which
yeah.
people, well, I guess dystopia, I mean, it's happening in present day normal
Exactly.
times, but yeah, it's just about rich people literally torturing poor people for their entertainment and for money, and then just seeing what desperate people are going to do.
But isn't it kind of freaky that it's happening in present day too? Like
That
that's
is
the whole
kinda
point of
freaky. It is kinda
dystopia.
freaky.
It does happen though.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. All of this stuff has truth to it.
Yeah, and again, stuff like Squid Games or even the Hunger Games, it's like not. It's not that it's not happening, because that stuff does happen, just like not on that like grandiose
That
scale of like
yeah.
someone having a giant like doll that
Yeah.
like shoots people if you look at it or stuff like that. Like it,
Yeah.
So is Squid Game like voluntary? Like,
Well,
Or
it's
the-
voluntary, but it's like
Yes.
they like technically they go and they find people that are like really poor, like in really like in a lot of debt, like just people that are desperate for money.
so they don't really give them a choice, I guess.
No, like they're like,
Yeah.
I know you have debt. Like, come call this number. We'll pick you up. They get on the island.
Yeah.
They play the games. They start finding out people's dying, and then they give you a choice. Like, if the majority votes to get out, you guys can do it. And either the majority doesn't vote, or they're like, one more game.
That's
One more
crazy.
Yeah,
game,"
exactly. Because
and
like,
then they die.
yeah, you go in, you don't know that people are supposed to die, and then they like shoot the first person. Everyone freaks out, obviously.
Yeah.
But then once they give you the choice, that's when you like see people start to get desperate, because they're like, okay, but like,
Yeah,
maybe
because
it's worth
less
a
and
few
less
more people dying.
are going. So they're like, my chances increasing.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Like actually, in the first season, they do a vote and they vote to like end it, but then a lot of the people come back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or else that would just be the end of the show, right?
Interesting. Is there oh well, let's talk about our favorite scenes and our before I ask something else and I get sidetracked. Favorite scenes, let's go.
Come on, Adrian, you got something?
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to write it down.
Of course.
Okay, from the Catching Fire movie, the line where Peeta's like, "If it weren't for the baby," and all the but I have a reason, and all the victors holding hands and like
That was I love that.
because
When was that in Catching Fire?
yeah, Catching Fire,
okay.
the interviews with Caesar, all the
Oh,
tributes
okay.
like hand hold
Yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
So it brought back to my point about like how the districts outnumber the capital if they're together. So they're kind of like showing that they're in alliance with each other more
Yeah.
than usual. And then I feel like it's also PETA's line is also kind of commentary on pro-life and pro-choice because there are 24 grown human beings in front of them trying to convince them to stop the games.
Yeah.
But the only thing that kind of makes them riot is when PETA's like, "Oh, but Katniss is pregnant."
Yeah.
So I'm like,
They value the unborn baby.
Exactly, it's contradictory.
Crazy, because that's what happens today. They're
Yeah.
all for the life in when it's in the womb, but then when it's out, it's like, oh,
Who
well,
cares? That's such a
that's
good
not my
point,
issue.
Adrian. Wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite scene.
That scene had the Capitol and President Snow quaking.
Right. I love seeing them united, but I also PETA was like, that was a really good.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
fine
That was
for
a good
that.
thing to
he
throw.
he was like, okay.
But you guys?
Yeah, what about you, Priscilla?
Oh, I was still thinking. I have one in mind, and it's definitely like when it's like, are you?
Oh, yeah.
coming
Oh,
to
yeah.
the tree?" And that was cool, but like, I'm still thinking. Come back to me.
How do we feel about Lucy's version of that?
I love it. If you
Oh, that was
read
sick.
the book of like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes,
Yeah.
it, like you see where it originated from, and it's
Yes,
really like,
exactly. I
that's
love how
wild.
they connected it without
Yeah.
like making it too like
on the nose.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah. I would say my favorite scenes is like when, especially like in the, I think this happened in the first movie, like when they're sort of like testing the Capitol, I guess you could say. And Katniss, she shoots, like they're in training, and she chooses like an arrow as her weapon, and she shoots the pigs.
Oh,
There's
the
an apple in the
apple?
pig's mouth because none of them are like listening to her. None of the people from the Capitol during the training. I think that was cool. Yeah, that's all I can remember. But
I think my favorite scene is I think it's in Catching Fire. It's when like the second hundred, like the quarter quell, when they like break it and then they lift Katniss out out of the arena with the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just like that. I don't
the
know.
memes are so funny.
and that's how the
Oh.
movie ended, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. It's just very
Yeah.
cathartic. I think it's a very beautiful scene.
Yeah. And dang, people had to wait like a year to know.
I know,
what
can you
happened.
imagine?
And
Like,
then- but I mean, there's a lot of people who didn't read the books and they just like,
It's true. But
they're
like, I forget that we were like 8 or 9 when these came out in
Yeah.
like the first place because I feel like I remember being a part of like the culture at the time,
yeah,
right?
that's
I
how
don't know.
big it was in like everybody's lives. Like we were so young and it's still like it feels so fresh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And are you
Did
guys excited
everybody
for
go?
the next one?
So
Yes,
excited.
I can't wait to read the
Yes,
book.
I love Haymitch.
What's so
But-
insane is that it comes out November 2026 or whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not too bad. And then I realized we're going to be fourth years.
Don't even say that. Don't ever say that ever again.
Anyways,
Stop
let's change
talking.
the topic.
Wait, another one of my favorite scenes though
Yeah.
is oh my god, wait, I just had it. It's one of them is when like they're taking video to like show they show Katniss when she comes out of that like
Yeah.
state, and then they start shooting up the hospitals and all that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry. Trigger warning. I don't know. And they're pressuring her to like make a statement this whole time, and then that's when
I
she's like,
remember that, yeah.
"This is what they do. This is what you need to." And then I just really like the scene where you at the end you see all the rebels finally, and you see the Mockingjay symbol everywhere.
Yeah.
And like that. All
Yes,
that
and like
is,
the bridge, the dam breaks.
Yeah,
and
and
all
yeah.
the districts start to like come up. Yeah.
that's all really cool.
So we have 5 minutes left. Do we have any slides
Oh
that
my
we need to go
gosh.
through?
Well, are we about to?
We have some like Katniss outfits if you guys want to like talk.
Are you
or,
guys
like,
ready
write
to
about
play
them.
Yes.
Capital Simulator, where we instead of
Oh my
judging her
God.
character, we judge her outfits? Because
Yes.
Dude, it was just 3:30.
I know
Wait,
it goes by
let's
so
see.
quick.
all right, guys, transition.
Speed run, guys.
See?
Whoa!
Outfits.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a.
I'm gonna give it a.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on
I'm not feeling the neckline, Katniss. Sorry.
2.
I like that.
Love it.
I'm
Iconic.
giving
That
that. Yeah,
was
I'm giving
cute.
that like a 7.
6.
Damn,
I
you
would
guys
say
are so.
6.
I'm giving her a 10 in all of them because I'm a feminist.
Oh,
9.
That's a 9.
Yeah,
10.
That's a
10,
9.
10, 10,
That's a
10.
10.
Oh my god, 10. 10's all
Nine.
across the board.
She gets a 9.
What?
Oh, you guys are
It's
so
beautiful.
But
Because
it was
I
like
have a favorite
Snow
one,
wanted
so
to
I'm
wear,
saving
me to
the
wear
10
this.
for the favorite one.
Well, you're. Oh, okay. This
This
pretty
is
cool.
10. This
This
is my
is
10.
This is the same
Yes.
thing though, because it's low-key the same dress. So
Yes.
for me, it's like 10 or both are 10.
They're all 10s.
Cinna 8.
Next, this is my 11. I love the red
Yeah.
one so
Yeah,
bad.
that's-
It eats down.
that's a
It-
I
9.5.
love their promo for the white one.
Is that? Do we have a next one?
Oh no, that's
That's
it.
it.
No, that's it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Of course, Adrian's favorite. Oh, Finnick, look.
I've
Adrian.
never seen that position of Finnick before. What is he doing?
He's just there being bad. You know, he's serving.
what is the guy's name again with the glasses?
Beatty?
I love him. He's my favorite character.
Wait,
Who is the guy
Really
next to
love
Beatty? Who
Beatty.
is that?
Can I see?
I don't know. He died like in the beginning.
He's
I'm
from
pretty
District
Oh.
2, Brutus or something like that.
sure. Guys, before we spin the wheel, who's your favorite character from the entire franchise?
Okay. Mine is
quick.
Finnick, Rue, Haymitch, and Senna.
Yes.
Peeta,
Okay.
maybe.
Finnick, Peeta, Mags, Katniss, and then especially from the new books, Haymitch and Lenore Dove.
Okay.
I'm all for Haymitch. I love Haymitch.
Love Haymitch. You want to go? You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Haymitch, Cinna, Effie. I mean, they all made so much sacrifices. But guys, I love Caesar Flickerman. Like,
Oh, you know what? I agree with that.
I love him. He's just a chill guy.
He's so.
And then his like grandpa or whatever was in Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah, Lucky.
I love
Yeah.
that connection. That was amazing. Go, Sophie.
And if I say Lucy Gray, what are you guys gonna say?
We love Lucy
I love
Gray.
Lucy.
Hands down.
I
We
love
ride for
Lucy.
Lucy.
We love a Lucy.
It's criminal if we don't say Prim too, because like
R.I.P.
you don't like Prim.
She's not.
I don't like
I don't like how her
Katniss's
sister
mother.
did all of that just for her to run back at the end. But that's
You
fine.
want to zoom into the wheel now?
The way we
Sophie?
didn't even mention Gale a single time. Good.
Ew, he doesn't
Don't
need to
say
be.
that.
He doesn't
We-
need.
Sorry,
his
trigger
name
warning,
is-
guys.
That out.
is
Why
banned
would
in
we
the
need
show. Come on.
All right, guys. It's time for me to take the time to zoom
Listen,
into
do
the
we need to
camera.
yell at us?
Jada, say stuff to the
Oh, no,
say
the
stuff to the
thing-
camera
Oh,
while I zoom
Well,
in.
guys, so last episode of the season is next week. I think we had a really fun season. A lot of special guests, a lot of dressing up. And yeah, make sure you follow our Instagram at Genre Roulette Show. And next week we are doing.
All right, guys, you ready? Spin that
Wait,
wheel.
I thought we
Oh, I
just
thought we
spinned
just
it.
spinned it.
Girl, I
Okay,
did not get any of
okay.
that. Spin that thing. Spin it.
Ready? Woo! And we're gonna be talking about.
Any second now.
Take your time. Take your time.
Noir.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
That was
Adrian, the first time it landed on zombie.
You're joking.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, guys, say bye to Priscilla. Thank you for being on the
Bye,
show.
Priscilla.
We
Please let me back,
appreciate it.
please.
Pierre,
Of
thank you
course.
for being our photographer.
Pierre, who just woke up.
Love you.
All right, everybody, play that
Bye.
music. Play
My
that
phone
music.
died, so-
Okay,
Oh.
whatever. Everybody, look
We
up
can
to
sing.
that one.
Are you? Are you coming to the tree?
There's fun.